Well, this is going to be kind of a short video. This is an experiment where I'm using two new cameras and a wireless mic. I got the mic here on my lapel. And we're going to see how this works in general. But I do want to bring up a couple things. You know, every once in a while somebody leaves a comment, or I'm on an EV group or something like that, and someone leaves a comment there, and it's just kind of weird how some of these things are just like completely made up. You know, it's just amazing. You know, when these EVs first came out, you know, way back in 2011 was when they really started to kind of hit the scene with the Nissan Leaf. The Nissan was noted for having a battery that wasn't first rate. Mainly because they were air-cooled batteries. They weren't really designed for longevity, I guess. Maybe they just didn't understand at the time how critical it was to keep the batteries at a consistent temperature. And the batteries really like to be in the same environment that we do. You know, 70 to 90 degrees is where a battery really likes to be. And with the Nissan Leafs, because they were air-cooled in really hot weather, they would get pretty hot. You know, just like your cell phone battery has a pretty short life, but you know, a lot of times that cell phone is so hot it actually shuts down. That's the data that a lot of people go by, is those batteries didn't last 100,000 miles. And that was fairly common. My Leaf that I had was actually still at 80%, even though it did have 100,000 miles on it when I sold it. But this is Minnesota, where we don't really have the real hot weather. If that same car was in, you know, Texas or California or Arizona, the batteries would have been probably shot. So a lot of those people were paying to have new batteries put in, and I think the average cost for a replacement battery with labor was probably about $8,000, and if they got an extended range battery, it was as high as $12,000. So what I see, and it's just nuts. Just the other day I was on the internet, and I think I was in an EV group, the Chevy Bolt group, and some guy posted a deal about, you know, what are you guys going to do when those $40,000 batteries go bad? Because it costs $40,000 to replace the battery. Well, first of all, the batteries are free. 8 years. Now the warranties are anywhere from 10 to lifetime battery warranties. They're that good. And the actual cost of replacing a battery out of pocket, if it wasn't under warranty, is about $6,500. And that's typically at maybe the 300,000 or 400,000 mile mark. Not you know, not every other day like some of these people say. So you know, it started out where the batteries, you know, cost $12,000 to replace. Then it was $15,000, then it was $20,000, then it was $30,000. Now it's $40,000. Every time someone comes up with a comment, the number goes up by $5,000 or $10,000. The reality is the batteries are actually getting cheaper because the manufacturing process is better. There's more competition, which drives the price down, and lithium ion is going away and lithium iron phosphate is coming in, so there is a shift in the battery price also. You know, and that's kind of the number one thing here all the time is, what are you going to do when that battery goes bad? And EVs cost more than gas cars. Well, they don't. Actually, EVs right now are cheaper than gas cars. Just had a guy did a video on his brand new Ford Lightning, and he priced out a gas one and everything, and it was $5,000 more for the gas version than the Lightning. And he doesn't do towing or any of that. He just uses it for residential construction type stuff, so he carries ladders, and he says he powers the entire work site all day off his truck, and then he drives home. So I think for contractors, that's a really good deal. I think that's a smart move for a contractor to use their truck rather than dragging a generator or putting in a temporary service. Seems to make sense. But I don't know why people that are anti-everything get on, sites like green energy sites and EVs and wind generator sites and post all this nonsense. They're not really going to convince anybody anything, because the people that are on those kind of sites have the intelligence to understand that green energy and EVs and all that, all the data is in. We all know that it is the logical way to go, and all the claims in favor of green energy and all that are valid. So when someone gets on there and starts spewing this nonsense, all they're doing really is just running up to the bee's nest and giving it a kick. You basically ignore them because they don't have any intelligence and they haven't done any research, and they're just spouting whatever Fox News tells them to say. So, you got to take that with a grain of salt. You're going to get that, It's just the way some people are. They just can't stand to be wrong, even though they are wrong. I think there's a thing called Dunning-Kruger. If you don't know what that is, Google Dunning-Kruger. It pretty much explains that whole process. So anyway, that's just one thing that came up. I think this morning that one actually came up about the $40,000 battery, which was a Shakarini. Just as a reference, I ran a diagnostics on my Kia and on this car, and my degradation at 40,000 miles is less than 1%. So I basically still have the exact same range I had. Maybe I lost a mile, maybe, in 40,000 miles. And I just saw an interesting thing. I'm actually going to do a video here. My next video is going to be on hybrids and why a hybrid is really not a good idea, and why hybrids not only are the first to fail between ICE and EV and hybrid. Hybrids have the shortest lifespan. They also are the most prone to bursting into flames. And these are all documented facts, insurance companies, NHTSA, and all that. These are all factual, not just a bunch of made up stuff. I don't watch Fox News, so I have to use actual data and actual research by engineers and insurance companies and people who actually know what they're talking about. So that's where I get my stuff. So with that being said, I think I'm going to pull the plug on this one. I'm actually headed over to the All-American Harbor Freight to buy some All-American tools. Oh God, don't get me going on that one, huh? So I'm going to pull the plug here. Thanks for watching. I'll come up with another video on the hybrids here within the next day or two. So make sure you click the belly thing and give me the thumbie and all that happy stuff, if you would, please. Thank you.